Okay, so welcome to the bonus round. Round 6, the bonus round. Here we go. Lots to cover, lots to do. So we don't have Robin in the chat right now. So now if you type into the chat, it won't get seen, at least not by me. And maybe okay, so welcome to the bonus round. Round 6, the bonus round. Here we go. Lots to cover, lots to do. So we don't have Robin in the chat right now. So now if you type into the chat, it won't get seen, at least not by me. And maybe at the end I can come back to it. We'll see. But there's already over 100 messages in the chat, so I'm not sure. The good news is I think the chat's also being recorded, and so maybe I can get to it after. So what we're going to do now is I really want to talk about grading and evaluation and show you that component of it because I haven't done that yet. But everything else I think I've shown you. I think if you follow along and you go back and do it all, you can have the course ready to go. For what I did for September, you just repeat for October and for November and for December and January and February, month by month, using a topic. And then populating that topic with each of those components like I've demonstrated to you already. So it's really just the grading part that we haven't done. What I will say is the good news is that there's a series of workshops on grading that are always ongoing. Between Teaching Commons and eServices and myself, there's a whole bunch of them coming throughout the month of August. So the email that you received to sign up for this Moodle retreat also included 4 Moodle retreats in August on Tuesdays. One of them is specifically on gradebook. One of them is on quizzes and tests. And one of them is on assignments and Turnitin. So I can't remember which date is which date, but today I'm going to give you the hot dog vendor version of it. So it's not fully nutritious, but it will fill you up enough until you get time for a real meal, okay? And I'll get you the entry points into there. And then from there, you can always, again, access the resources which sit waiting for us. The resources can be found when I go to the Going Digital website and I scroll on down. 2 parts you can find here. The first is if you go to Teaching with Moodle and you scroll down, there's information here to how to set up assignments and quizzing and Turnitin and gradebook. And a lot of what I'm going to show you today is already right there for you where you can get step-by-step instructions on how to do it. The second place where you can find it on the Going Digital website is if you scroll down again and we go to eServices training, you'll see that they run sessions for you on a lot of these things like quizzes and assignments. So I would, excuse me, and even people have a lot of questions about the scheduler. They do it here for you as well. And they also show you how to use the attendance tool for taking your attendance on Moodle and having it work directly there. So Moodle Gradebook grades quizzes, and they run these. And you can even see the quiz training dates as well for when they're upcoming. So in July, well, we're here now, so let's take a look at August. In August, there's a quizzes one on the 6th, and there's a quizzes one on the 11th. So again, I would recommend that if you don't get enough here, you can always go to the quizzes one, or for assignments and grades, same idea. You click on the calendar, and it shows you what's coming. These are July, so I have to move to August. On the 11th, there's another one here as well. Okay, so you can always find yourself there for backup. Okay, let me go back to where I was now, which is in my course itself and in the course that you are working with. All right, I'm going to switch my role. Actually, before I switch my role, I'm actually going to go back to topics. Click on my edit settings. Because I want you to see what I see, and I want to be building with what you build. I'm going to scroll down to topics format. And I save and I return. And now my course looks like yours, or hopefully it looks like yours. I'm going to make sure I turn my editing on. And as I scroll down, we're all looking the same, working the same way from the same space. So we did lectures and tutorials. And if I scroll on down, keep on scrolling. We did September. All I'm telling you to do is basically repeat this process for October. You add a topic, you could, if you added 2 more topics, you could also repeat this process for November. and for December. And then, everything that you have here, you could just repeat below. You could repeat by duplicating. And then once it's duplicated, you just take the piece where it says copy, how it duplicated. You can just drag it and drop it into October, and then just adjust by clicking on the pen and changing the name from tutorials for September for tutorials for October, and hit enter. And then, or if you wanted to, you could, instead of doing that, you could click add an activity or resource, and you could build all of these pieces again, the same way you built them the first time here, okay? So that's how you will populate October and November and December if your classes go into December. But what I want to show you here is this part here. So the grading and assignments. So what I did is I went to my course syllabus and I took the part from my course syllabus about the essays and assignments and how much was going to go to each part. And I took it and I copied it and I just pasted it into the topic. I clicked edit topic. I copied this information directly from my syllabus. And then I just pasted it in here. Again, right click and paste. We know how to do that already. And then I saved the changes. And when I saved the changes, now it shows up like this, okay? Right here for me to see. But what I need to do now is I need to build all of these different things. So how will I do that? So what I decided to do was, for the assignments, 1, 2, and 3, I created an assignment. For the essays, there's a first term essay and a second term essay. I created a Turnitin assignment. Okay, because this instructor wants to use Turnitin. And for the first test and the second test, or the final test, because there's 2 tests here, I created what's called a quiz. So the first one I made a quiz, and the second one I made crowd mark. And now I'm going to walk you through. I haven't actually, if you click on them, what you'll see is there's nothing there yet, because I haven't actually built anything for the students to do with it. Okay, so I'm going to build it with you right now, and that way you can see how it all works. But what I also decided to do was on top of each one of these, I created a label because just so it was more clean. And the label said assignments, and then I added a label here, scrolled on down, clicked label, clicked add a label, and then this one I called essays, and then I clicked save and return to course, and then I made another one, and then I made it tests. Now, remember, anytime we want to add text, we add a label. But you'll notice that this essays is small and this essays is big. And why is that? Because the label that I made, I also made it a tab. So this is the little trick. If you want your website when we're all said and done, if you want your Moodle when we're all said and done to look like this one, where we have all these different tabs along the top, all of these tabs are just labels that I made that I turned into tabs. Does that make sense to people? Actually, you are seeing it. Okay, good. All right, so they're just labels that I turned into tabs. Let me show you how I did that. Where am I? I'm here. So when I created this label, click add activity or resource, and I scrolled down and I made a label, and I clicked add. I typed in the word essays, just like we saw there. And that's how we had the small text version of it. But instead what I wanted to do is I wanted to make that label a tab. So to do that, I need to actually press one more button. But I'll show you that a little bit later because it's not showing on my toolbar here, and I'm not sure why. So I don't want to waste too much time with that. But right next to this smiley face, there's supposed to be a file folder. And then I click on that file folder. It takes the small essays, it makes it a big essays, and makes it a tab. And I'm not sure why it's not showing. Maybe I have to be in the menu tab format to make it work. We'll go there before we're done, and we'll make sure that we get it to work. But anyways, that's how I make my labels, and that's how I make my tabs. That's an important feature because labels give cleanliness. So again, part of this bonus is cleanup. Gives cleanliness to your students when they see, because it helps to delineate things and make it viewable. Look, edit. I don't need 2 of those. But also labels allow us to add text where text is needed. Okay. All right. Yes, not clear how to do tabs. I know. There's when I click on a label, when I make a label, if I edit the settings on a label, whenever I make a label in the toolbar right here, as you see, I'll annotate in the toolbar right here. Right, I type in whatever text I want like normal, but right here there's one more button. And that button's not currently showing. but that button, I'm a horrible drawer, especially when using my mouse, should look like this. And it's a file. That's supposed to be a file folder. I apologize for if it doesn't look like one, but it's supposed to be a file folder. It's supposed to be right here. And if all I do is after I type in my text, I highlight the text, and then I click the file folder, it turns it into a tab. Okay. I'll try, before we're done today, I will show you how to do it, even if I have to do it in 3.9 to show you, but I will show you. Okay, back to my grades and assignments. So I hopefully that was helpful. Do you convert that entire Moodle section structure to a tab structure? The menu tab feature goes to the whole course. So it's something we'll do at in the course settings by clicking up here at the top on this button, and we click on edit settings. And right now my appearance is currently set to topic, or course format is set to topic. I'm going to keep it there. But if I adjust it to menu tab, that's what creates that setup. Okay. And then once you set that up, all your topics become the columns down the left-hand side, and all your tabs become the columns along the top inside of each topic. But I'll show you that a little bit later. First, I want to get a little bit more work done on the grades, and then I will do a little bit on menu topic at the very end to clean that up. Okay. So I scroll on down, I scroll on down, I scroll on down, I scroll on down, I scroll on down. Grades and assignments, perfect. Okay, so let's create assignment number 1 for my students. Okay, let's start there. So I've already put it here, but I'm just going to actually create it from the start. I click on add an activity or resource. I click on assignment. I click on add. And now it's going to ask me for some information. So this is called assignment number 1. That's actually what it's called. And then here I might put a description of what the assignment is for my students, what they're going to need to know. So to get that, I actually have to go to my syllabus to pull that information up. So just while I talk to you, I'm going to pull it up off of my syllabus, which is also open on my computer. Here we go. Assignment number 1. I'm going to copy the information, and I'm going to paste the information. Assignment number 1. It's due October 26th. It's worth 10%, etc., etc. Choose a total of 5 gods or goddesses with reference to both texts. Make a PowerPoint presentation based on these texts, and you can work alone or in groups for this assignment. That sounds like a fun assignment. I like it. Now, because I put something in the description box, this is the description box right here, I have to turn that description on for my students. And now, additional files. May I add additional files? Well, maybe you have an assignment sheet already where you have already written up all of how you want this assignment to go with very clear instructions. Then, you don't have to paste that in here. Instead, you could just type in into the description box, see attached assignment sheet. And then what you could do is just click on the file, click on upload a file, browse your computer, wherever those instructions may be. Maybe it's right here. All right, this is the assignment sheet. I click open. I own the copyright to it because I created the assignment, and I upload the file, and now here it is for my students. Okay. If you wanted to, because we have this toolbar box, you could even record instructions for your students. So you could then, underneath here, or maybe right above it, I'll put it, you could click on the microphone button, click on start recording, click on allow recording, and I'm recording, and I might say, hi, assignment number 1 is worth 10%, due October 26th. Read Hethius Theogony, working days, and choose a total of 5 gods or goddesses with reference to both texts. Make a PowerPoint presentation based on these texts and their description in the arts with reference to any website. You can work alone or in groups of 5 students maximum for this assignment. More information can be found on the assignment sheet attached, and please submit below. And then I might say something like this. Please note, if you are working in groups, only 1 person per group is required to submit the PowerPoint. If you have any questions, send me an email, sgennaro@yorku.ca. Stop recording. I could listen back to hear if I like it. Recording, and I'm recording, and I might say, hi, assignment number 1 is worth 10%, due October 20th. Okay, you got the point. I click attach recording, and now it's here. So now my students have the assignment, they have a description of the assignment, they have an attached assignment sheet. I scroll down, and now I have to adjust the settings for when the assignment can come. So I know that it's due October 26th, so let's start with that due date. Okay, I'll scroll down, I adjust the due date, October 26th, so 26th of October, and when is it going to be due? Is it due at midnight? Is it due at 12 a.m. or is it due at 12 midnight? Is it due at 12 noon? I don't know. That's up to you in your course. I'm going to put 12 noon because if I put 12 noon and all my students panic and have emails trying to email me why their submission won't work, I'll get those emails at 11:59 in the morning, which is much nicer than 11:59 p.m. So that's why I make myself do it 12 noon. It's just a preference of mine. Plus, if my student is working till midnight to get it done, if I make it 12 noon the next day, they might still be up all night. But I mean, what's the difference? I'm not going to probably come and see my inbox until the morning anyhow. So I always make it a morning submission or a noon submission. What I might decide to do is allow submissions from a certain point. So I don't want them to start being able to submit until the beginning of October. Let's say the 7th of October. I don't want you to submit before then. I want to make sure you're into the course and you have enough material. So I'm going to enable the opening of submission. I'm going to have a due date, which looks like this. Maybe I have a cutoff date. Maybe there's a point after which students are no longer allowed to submit. So maybe you say, okay, it's due October 26th. But as of the 1st of November, I'm no longer taking assignments. They'll be late during that period, but I won't take them anymore. So you can put that in place as well. The nice part about this is when you put this information here, like due date information, it will actually populate your students' Moodle calendars. They'll have a calendar and it will populate it. It will give them that information on their calendar. Show description. Now you have submission types. So I know that because this course is asking me for a PowerPoint, it's a file submission, okay? They have to submit a file. And the number of files to be uploaded, I want students really working with like a 1 file upload. Just send me 1. 2 gigs is more than enough for a PowerPoint. And accepted file types, you can choose here. So I'm going to select on choose, and I want my students to be able to send me, well, I have to decide what I want. Down here where it says presentation files, these are PowerPoint files. So I'm going to click on presentation files, and that means they can send me Google slides, they can send me PowerPoint slides, all these ones they can send to me. And I'm going to scroll on down to the bottom, scrolling so I can get out of this spot and accept those. I'm going to click Save Changes, and okay, so these are the files they're going to send me. So now I'm not going to get any kind of weird files. I'm not going to get any weird files. I'm only going to be getting PowerPoint or Google Slides or Microsoft 365 versions of this, okay? Feedback types. This is where you sort of figure out what you want to include and how you want your feedback to happen. There's a variety of different ways in which you can do it and the ones that you like. You can comment in line if you wanted. You can add feedback comments, all of this. I'm just going to leave all of these on for now, or you could actually even just take them all off. I mean, it's a choice of which one you want. Click on the question mark to see what it allows you to do and to pick the one that you want best. I'm going to work a little differently, but I'll just put here feedback comments. I want there to be comments. Okay. No, I don't want in line. Submission settings. Do I require the student to click the submit button? This way, when they upload it, they have to say that they're submitting. This way, they have to accept the submission that they're using. So I'm going to put yes and yes. Reopened, no. Group settings. Students submit in groups. For this assignment, I'm going to say no because students have the option of submitting in groups. Okay, they have the option. So I'm going to say no. The other thing is because your course is set up with forced groups and because your groups are divided by tutorial, if you click submit in groups, you'll be allowing only sort of 1 submission per tutorial, right? So we don't want that. So we want this turned off, which is why I also said in my little recording for my students, if you're working in a group, only 1 person per group needs to submit the document. Or you can have them all submit it. That also works. It's fine as well. It's really up to you. Notify graders about the submission. If you want to know, if you want to get an email every time someone submits, click yes. If you have 1,000 students and you don't want to know, click no. Notify about late submissions. I turn this on because I like to know when somebody is submitting something after the deadline. So that way I can go in and look for it and I can connect with the students and we can figure out what's gone on. Default setting for notify students. I'm going to turn this off and I recommend that you do this. I think this is an important step. What that means is if the default is on, it means as soon as I grade it, it's going to tell the student that I've graded it. And maybe I don't necessarily want them to know that right away. So instead, what I'm going to say is, you know what? I'm going to turn this off, and that way I'll notify the students once I'm finished the grading for the whole tutorial, for the whole class. Now, what's the grade worth? I like to leave the grades at 100. I mean, 100's a nice, easy number. I can adjust how much that is worth in the course in the grade book. But maybe you want to keep it simple. You know this one is 10%, so you only want it out of 10. Just like that, we're good. Or you can have it as 100. I mean, it's really up to you. Either one is fine. So do you want it for 10 or do you want it for 100? I mean, you decide. Or do you want it out of 20 or 15, whatever you like. But if you make it out of 100, we can adjust in the grade book to make the grade book worth 10%. But I'll show you that shortly. The type of grading method I'm going to use is I'm going to use a rubric because I always mark with a rubric. I recommend it. It's better for the students. It's better for the instructor. But if you don't have a rubric, just click simple direct grading. Okay. The grade to pass is obviously half of what the number is. So if they need 100, you put 50. The reason why you fill this in is because in your grade book, if a student gets a grade that's lower than the grade to pass, it will make the grade a different color in your grade book. So you'll be able to visually see and identify which students are struggling. Now, this part here is up to you to decide if you want the instructor to be able to see who they're grading, if you want to hide the grader identity from the students, so you don't want students to know who's grading them, you can adjust both of those things. I'm not sure we need either of those. But what I might do as a course director in a section with plenty of tutorials is I might turn on my workflow. And what this means is that there's going to be, oh, sorry, I'll do that again, that there are stages, come on, that there are stages before the grades are allowed to be released, okay? So I might turn that on. So I'm going to actually turn that to yes. And then marking allocation, I might turn this to yes as well. And what that means is it allows me as the instructor to allocate which students are getting graded by which members of the teaching team. Hold on for 1 second. Excuse me. If you've already divided your course into groups and your groups are based on tutorials, it's already fairly obvious who's marking who. However, marking allocation makes it a nice, clean, easy way to identify it. And so I'm going to turn that on. Common module settings, it's shown on the course. I want this, this assignment separate groups. Yes, we know that already. I want separate groups here, not because each person's going to submit a group assignment, but because what's going to happen is those groups, those assignments, as they're submitted individually, will then be sorted by Moodle into their groups so that they're easier for my tutorial leaders to find and to access. Okay, that's why I have this is the module setting. It's different than the first setting that we looked at. And I click Save and Display. Now I come back, I just go through it all, make sure it's all here, submission types all the way down. Okay, so this is different. Remember, submit in groups, no, but group mode separate. Yes, that's on. That's a forced setting, okay? And that's okay that those two are different. I'm getting buzzes in the chat. I'm assuming, okay. All right, I'm going to save and return to course. And now, well, it didn't want to. What didn't I do? I must have did something. Oh, remind me grade cannot be earlier. Oh, I had turned my remind me grade on. I like to be reminded that I have papers there that need to be marked, usually a week after the cutoff date. So I just turn that on. If you don't want to be reminded with an email, you can just turn that off by clicking enable, turning it off. Now it's shaded gray, which means it's not happening. I scroll on down to the bottom. Everything else I like how it looks. Click save and return to course. Oof. And now I have my first assignment right here, assignment 1. I'm going to delete this first one. Move my mouse. I'm going to delete the first one because it was just a placeholder that wasn't supposed to be there. I'm not going to delete this one. This is the good one down here. I'm going to delete this one here that I put up just as a placeholder to show you what it would look like. I take this first assignment now that I've finished and I've built, and I just drag it and drop it under my assignment tab, right? My label that says the word assignment. And now when students come and they come here, they're going to see not just the entry point, they're going to see the information, they're going to see the video that I've created that's going to explain it to them, and there's going to be the attached assignment sheet. Because when they click here, there's the attached assignment sheet right there for them. And when they click on the attached assignment sheet, it's going to download to their computer. And when they open it, all the steps about what they need to do or how they need to do it will be there for them. When I come and look at it, what I see is, here's my students, here's when the due date is, and then I can view all the submissions if I want. And I can see this is my group because I'm a part of it, but here's all the other groups that are also there. Okay, and then if I was a student, I would actually do it. Now, when I want to grade it, I can just click on grade, and what will happen is the submissions will come up, and there'll be an opportunity for me to type in whatever the grade is. If I wanted to, I could allocate a marker to it. There's only two instructors right now. And the workflow state is if I'm marking it, if I've completed the marking, if it's in review, if it's ready for release or to be released. And then I can put my comments right here. So I'm assuming that I marked it offline because it's the Microsoft PowerPoint that needed to be uploaded. Okay, you're still with me so far, hopefully. Now I can adjust these settings, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm leaving this page because I don't want to actually affect the grade. If I view all the submissions, what I'm going to see here is all of the options now where I can allocate the markers to each individual student, and I can adjust the settings for where it is in the workflow. Not marked, in review, ready for release, etc. And if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, what we'll see is there's the option as the course director for me to do a couple different things. The first is I can notify the students by clicking yes, and that means that every student will get notified that the marking is done. So when we're done, I'm going to click from no to yes and then send that. I can I can select a number of different ones here from the side. I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. I can scroll down and I can download, I can give an extension, I can put it into a workflow state, or I can allocate the marker. So there's an opportunity here for me to take a group, several students and give them to one particular marker, or if several of them are already done and they've been graded by my TA, I can review the grading if we wanted to before it goes out, etc. So there's some options here. Also, as the instructor, when I come in here, I can download the submissions into folders. So if I wanted to have them on my computer, I could download them as well. So there are a few options that are there when I'm working within the workload itself. I'm leaving the page for the workflow. That was that workflow option that we turned on that created that. I'll show you again where that is. Click on Edit Settings. Into my assignment. This is the assignment that we just created. If I scroll all the way down to where grade is, and I turn on Use Marking Workflow, and I turn on Use Marker Allocation, that's what provides those particular options. Okay. Now, while I'm in this and I go back to my grades and assignments, and I come to assignment number 1, and I click on assignment number 1, and now I'm in my assignment. I want to change how I grade it. If I just click over here, there's some options here for me to change. One of the options here is advanced grading. Okay. By the way, you can download all the submissions. You can view all the submissions here. Okay. I'm going to click advanced grading. When I click advanced grading, I can change it from which we just saw. When I opened it up, I showed you what the simple direct grading looked like. And I can change that to rubric. And if I click on rubric, now I have the opportunity to define a rubric from scratch or create from a template. At the moment, I'm going to click define from scratch. But what I'm hoping is you'll be able to create from a template, and that the template that when you type in here, when you type in LAPS assignment, okay, which we don't have right now, and you click search, it will bring up for you templates that we're creating, okay, that I'm in the process of creating. But a rubric looks something like this. It's a series of boxes that we assign points to, and we give comments based on the type of points that they are. And what it allows us to do then is to quick mark material and assign, like I said, numeric value to it. So if I include my own forms and I put, let me see, what do I have here? I don't know, what kind of rubrics do I have in here? Let's see, because I'm not sure if this is my course or not. No, there's nothing in here. Let me show you. Okay, perfect. So here's a rubric that I use for 10% for a student assignment. And what happens is my students create videos, and then when they submit the video, I give it a grade, okay, based on some criteria that I've created. Did not submit, met the full requirements, submitted proper length, competent quality, fairly competent quality, good quality, very good quality, excellent quality, exceptional quality. If you don't recognize this language, this is actually the language from the Senate policy on student grades for LAPS. So this is the language that they actually use for what constitutes an A plus, a B plus, a C plus, a D, etc. The ideas of the type of quality that is there. Okay. Then I have there's some feedback component to this assignment, and then there's a group component to this assignment. Yours won't necessarily look like this, but this is how I use it. And then what happens is when I go to grade the student work, which I'll show you in a second, I just check which box it is. I check. Moodle tallies it for me. Moodle puts the grades automatically into the grade book for me. So I'm not going to use this particular rubric because it doesn't work. Instead, I'm going to come back to where I was before in my assignment 1. I click assignment. I click on the edit the settings. I come down to advanced grading, and I'm going to create a rubric and define the rubric. So the rubric I'm creating now is going to be called assignment 1. Why is my cap locks on? Try again. Assignment 1. And I don't need any more description. And now I'm going to decide what it's going to look like. I think it's very reasonable to have 1 row rubrics. You can have as many as you like. You could have as many as you like. You could have one here for if you wanted originality. You could have one here for academic process. You could have one here for group work, or you could create the criteria however you like and have as many as you like, and then award the grading for it however you like. But I like to work for most small assignments. I like to keep it really sort of simple and give students sort of like 1 or 2 things to work on. So what I might put here is, because this is an assignment that has that asks them to connect to different readings and to unpack them, what I might put here is sort of mechanics, and then what I might put here, and then what I might put here is academic. Academic product. Okay, I mean, you can come up with your own criteria, and it's not going to be the same because I think that the academic product should probably be worth, I'm going to say, maybe 70% of this particular assignment. And I know that I'm going to grade it out of 10, and so then maybe my mechanics will be out of 3. So I click to add a level to keep adding points to it. I can adjust the points if I want to have half points. Like I might add another level, and then this one I might adjust to 3.5, and this one I might adjust to 3.5, and then this one I might adjust to 3. I did that same thing. This one I might adjust to 3. This one might adjust to 2.5. Sorry, I do not teach math, as you probably have just noticed. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 2.5, and 3. I can add half points. I can have 2.75, I can have 1.25, whatever you like. And then for each of those, when I click on edit level, I put what makes that mark. So I would put did not submit, is obviously a 0. Now, if this is out of 3 and they submitted a 1, I would write submitted work that is not up to year 1 university level or something like that. Right? And so then for 2, I might have now what's the description? Again, the mechanics of how they put their PowerPoint together. How does it look? What do they have enough slides? Did they use enough text? Did they cite their texts? Was their work cited? Whatever the criteria was, I mean, that's what I'm evaluating on here. And I would say, met some of the conditions, but missing 4 key things, or I don't know, whatever your grading guideline you want to be. And you go along and you fill this in for each one. Okay. All the way up, and then this would be, perfect, right? And then for academic product, though, what I might do here is I might actually put, okay, this is A plus level. What is that? What does an A plus level mean? An A plus level, according to Senate in LAPS, tells us that it is original, that is exceptional, etc. And you put your quality markers in there. Okay. I want it. I have my rubric. I'm going to save my rubric and make it ready. Okay. My level, I actually have to put something in each of these. Okay. I'm just going to put something really fast in it because I want to keep moving. And I want to show you quizzes still. Okay. And there we are. And I scroll down, I make the rubric ready, and now my rubric is ready to go. Okay, so assignment 1, ready for use. So now if I go back to assignment 1 in my course, and I come to here and I see that I have my grading summary, and I'm ready to grade, and I click on grade, the first student comes up, but guess what comes up now is the rubric itself. So now as I'm looking at their PowerPoint, I can click on, oh, the student did not submit. Or I might say, oh, this student did perfect. And look, if I make this bigger, which I can by going like that, there's actually a box for comments on the side. So I can say, I know, well done, you clearly met the expectations, excellent work. And then I might go to here to the academic product. Let's say it's, again, an A+. And I type in here, oh, fantastic, Or let's say it's down here. The work is not up to par. What I might put is, please see me in my office hours to discuss. Or I might say, if it's down here, please revise and resubmit. Right? Those are options. And then when I scroll down, all right, I'm going to make that smaller again, and I scroll down. Now I put the workflow state. So now I've completed the marking, and and then I scroll on down. The grade will appear once the grades are released. It will appear in the grade book. I click Save Changes. There's an option to notify the student, which I'm not going to do. I click Save Changes, and now this has been the grade and the feedback has been saved, and it's ready to go. Okay. I'm going to go back to this assignment itself. I'm going to go back to the assignment itself, and I'm going to come back to here. If you don't want the workflow on, you don't need the workflow on. Your tutorial leaders will still be able to access their sections because they're non-editing instructors, and they can grade their sections. Because when you come down here and you click on grade, right now I have all submissions. I'll try this again. I could just click the separate group. So if I was a tutorial leader, even if I wasn't using workflow, I could just I could pick my tutorial, and then it would show me just the students who are in my tutorial, and I could grade those ones, okay? By going through and just clicking on grade and grading them. And as I grade them, again, I can be filling in the rubric. So that is how I would go about setting up the assignment 1. Let me come back here for a second. And so now this assignment is set up. It's all ready to go. It's all ready to be graded. And I even have a rubric put in place. And then I'll just show you just real quickly, if I come up to the top here and I click on gradebook, that particular, there's a lot of stuff in this gradebook. I will fix that up. But this is the assignment 1 that we just did. And if I click on it, it takes me back to the assignment 1, which is right here. So assignment 1 is linked into my gradebook because I built it, and then all of this information will get populated over there. I'll show you how to use gradebook in just a moment.